Hello everyone, welcome to NGCo's YouTube channel. In this video, we will have a look at SMO deployment along with non-RT RIC and then accessing them through their respective dashboards. So on the screen right now, you can see the diagram of the whole architecture of SMO function, which stands for Service Management and Orchestration. Over here, you can see the different components like non-RT RIC, near-RT RIC, and other RAN components like CU, DU, and ORU. Further, you can also have a look at the interfaces like the O1 interface, the A1 interface between the near RT RIC and the non-RT RIC, the O2 interface, the E2 interface, F1 and E1 interfaces. So now we will move ahead. So now let's move over to the diagram which illustrates our deployment. So over here, we can see we are running scripts in layers. So the first layer or the script layer 0, this layer basically installs all the prerequisite roles for us. It installs tools like Helm, Python, and Chart Museum. And it also helps us to set up a Kubernetes cluster for us. So in this particular deployment, we are using Kubernetes cluster with version 1.28. And one thing to note is that we are using Ubuntu 22. So the next layer, the script layer 1, consists of charts and the building processes, and it builds charts for the ONAP and the ORAN namespace. And particularly, it is using the J release of the SMO charts. So now we move on to the script layer 2. Inside this, we have two namespaces. We have an ONAP based SMO. So in the first namespace for ONAP, all the components of SMO are installed. And then using one particular component from here, we will access the dashboard of SMO. And that is the service SDNC web, which we will have a look at the end of the video. And in the second namespace, we have installed the non-RT RIC components. And the layer 1, which builds charts for us, these charts are then later used in the layer 2 to deploy them. So now let's move on to the terminal part. So the first step is to clone this repository, which helps us install SMO and non-RT RIC. So the Helm charts are available for these, and this repository is basically used for integration and testing for SMO and other components like non-RT RIC. You can see in the name of the repository here, it mentions IT, which means integration and testing. So here now you can see all the folders. So here first we have to go inside the depth folder, and we can see the structure of the depth folder. So here we have the RIC depth folder, which is used for the near RT RIC deployments. We have the non-RT RIC folder over here. Similarly, SMO install folder has scripts we use to install SMO. You can see the structure of each folder, and each of them has Helm folder available inside these folders to store the charts. So basically, we have all the scripts inside the SMO folder, which we will be further using in our deployment. So we will run all the scripts as a root user. So first, we run the layer 0 script. This is the first layer 0 script, which is for micro KRTS. This script creates a cluster for us using micro KRTS, and it consists of steps in cluster creation, installing all the components needed for us in that cluster. And currently our cluster is up, but some of the pods are still in creation status. So once they are in running, we will move further. So now they all are running. Let's move further. This is the second script of layer 0, and this script is for Chart Museum. It is used for installing Chart Museum, and we build our charts locally, and the Chart Museum is used to store the charts we have built and push to the local repository. Then when required, we can use the repository via calls to the Chart Museum. So the Chart Museum is installed and is hosted on localhost on port 18080. Now charts built further will be collected into the Chart Museum. So the last script of this layer is used to install Helm, and 3 cardinal plugins are installed here: deploy to deploy our charts, undeploy to delete those charts, and Helm push, which pushes the packages to the Chart Museum. You may also see an error downwards, where it tells us that no repository was configured. And this is because this is a fresh deployment, and the script will automatically create a local repository for us, as you will see. Also, you can see the request served line, which tells us that it was connected to the chart museum. So when we build our charts in the next steps, it will automatically push the chart to the chart museum. This is the layer 1 script, which is used to build all charts for ONAP and ORAN components in their respective namespaces, which then will be pushed to the chart museum by using the CM push plugin. You can see different components being built and pushed to the chart museum. To understand the flow for, let's say, one particular component, repository wrapper, so after entering the respective directory, it runs the makefile and it builds the chart and now takes an update from the local repository of the chart if that is available. Then it tries to establish connection to the chart museum. And if that is successful, it pushes that particular chart to the chart museum. So the build was successful. Now we can see the chart museum repository. And as mentioned previously, it is hosted on localhost at port 18080. Now we can see a list of all the charts in the chart museum, which we just built. So you can see we have a plethora of charts over here, which we will use in our deployment moving further. So this layer 2 script installs all components of ONAP and ORAN namespace. We will look at the end that the SMO components are in the ONAP namespace and the non-RT RIC in the ORAN namespace. So now it will use the charts from the chart museum for deployment. The ONAP namespace was created and we have deployments created for strimz and strimz operator, which takes some time, after which the ONAP and the SMO components will get installed. After strimz operators are deployed, we can see the ONAP components coming up and started to get deployed. This is followed by deployments of non-RT RIC components. So as you can see, we have the ONAP components and the non-RT RIC namespace over here. This is the highlighted area. We have ports for non-RT RIC, and above it, we have ports for the ONAP namespace. We can have a view separately, and we have to actually wait for them to become healthy before we move forward. Once they are healthy, we can see the available services in the ONAP and the ORAN namespace. These are the available service in the ONAP namespace. And this particular service, SDNC web service, is used to access the dashboard of SMO. The 30205 port is exposed with a node port, and we will use this to access the dashboard of SMO. Here are the services of non-RT RIC. Now we will access the dashboard of SMO. So here on the browser, you use the username admin and the password. For the password, you can refer to the configuration file available under the folder named SMO install and then Helm override. So this is the home. Now for the connect section, when we run simulated DU, RU or any other RAN stack, all components related will be shown over here, right? So these are the other sections you can have a look at. This is the event log of SDNC controllers to see the connection. So now we can move over to the non-RT RIC dashboard. So here we can see the non-RT RIC dashboard, and inside policy control, inside the policy, we have a field that is policy types. And currently we have not applied any policy, so we do not have anything here. We can see the RIC configuration, which is available over here. And then going back, we can also have a look at the information coordinators, right? So all the information about coordinators is over here. So that was all for this video. Thank you so much.